Well, I'd like to welcome everybody. Today is November 27th. I'm broadcasting live from Stockholm, Sweden. Welcome to the Fifth Dimensional Academy of Higher Consciousness. Those of you who are with me for the first time, just know that throughout our system Zoom, we have to unmute, we have to mute everybody because devices making noises. So we mute everybody. If you have any questions, either write it on a chat box or save it till after the meditation and then wave at me or raise your hand and I'll unmute you and you can talk to me directly. For those who are on Facebook, I can't answer your questions. I'm sorry, it gets too complicated for me to be on two separate devices and be able to read your question and answer back to you. If you want to communicate with me directly, your best bet is to sign up through my website, Zarathustra.tv, and that way you get a link and you come on our system and you can directly communicate with me. So why don't we, for now, we're going to do a heart meditation. We're going to bring our attention to our heart center, to our chest area. And if you want to put your hands on your heart and you just bring the energy here, bring your attention to this part of your body and breathe into it. Close your eyes and breathe into your chest area, your heart area, and visualize that there is a channel within your heart. So as you breathe in and you breathe out, you can see golden light is coming through, going back and forth in your heart. So you breathe the light in and you breathe out the light. So it's just very simple. I'm not going to make it complicated. And if you have a hard time keeping your hands on your chest area, you can drop them if it's easier for you. If not, just feel your presence, feel your heart, feel yourself, and breathe in this place. And bring your attention, bring your mind into a state of gratefulness and gratitude. And for a moment, just come to this and be grateful that we are here together in this moment, that we're able to communicate with one another, and be grateful for everything you have in your life in this moment. Be grateful for the love that you are able to receive and share with others, the love you have for yourself, and the care. And be grateful for everything that is in your life, everything that you have in your life. Just stay in this place, gratefulness, instead of going into a place of being a victim or nitpick on the things you don't like, because there's a lot of stuff in our lives don't go our way. Just get away from that and come to this place of being grateful in this moment for everything you have. And repeat after me. I love myself. I love myself. I love everybody. I forgive myself. I forgive everybody. Because I'm love. Because I'm light. because I'm God. That's why I love myself. And I forgive myself.
And I forgive myself.
I say yes to love.
I say yes to love.
Yes to love.
Yes to love.
Yes.
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 Yay!
Yes!
Yeah, that's it. And just stay in this place of pure gratitude and self-love and self-acceptance. I'm going to ask you to repeat after me one more time. But this time, when you're doing this, I would like you to say and repeat after me wholeheartedly and really love yourself for who you are and what you are, instead of pointing finger at yourself that you are not this or you're not that. Just simply love yourself for who you are in this moment, with your good and bad and things you don't like about yourself. Just love it all and forgive yourself for whatever you think you've done that you're not proud of, and forgive yourself for that. And let's use this moment to go beyond the past, as well as love everyone regardless of what they've done. Look in their hearts and see the divine within them and love that, and forgive them for whatever they've done in their lives. Let's let them go. Let's cut this cord and not carry these people with us anymore, and let them go. So if you please repeat after me one more time. I love myself.
I love myself.
I love myself.
I love myself.
I love everybody.
I love everybody.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
I forgive everybody.
I forgive everybody.
Because I'm love.
Because I'm love.
Because I'm light.
Because I'm light.
Because I'm God.
Because I'm God.
That's why I love myself.
That's why I love myself.
And I forgive myself.
And I forgive myself.
I say yes to love.
I say yes to love.
Yes to love.
Yes to love.
Yes.
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 Yay!
Yes!
You're funny.
I love to say yes.
And as you're just sitting there comfortably, your attention is on your heart. You see your heart chakras open and a golden light. The golden light comes and goes through your breath, through your heart. And this light that comes in and out of your heart, it keeps growing. And it's growing larger and larger, and it's taking over your body. And gradually, your body disappears into the light. And as the light grows larger, you become more quiet. And the presence reveals itself. You can feel the being. To sit silently, quietly with yourself. And to dive within, where our heart illuminates our bodies. The power of love takes over our being and heals all the wounds and scars that have been inflicted on us throughout our lives. And in fact, it illuminates the idea and the illusion of who we thought we were. And it lightens up the true parts of us, which is here, the presence, and it's untouched. The presence. Slowly, slowly come back. Okay. Any questions? Hi, Hilde. Hogan. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see you're off. You're back home, right?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. How's it going?
No, it's going. It's almost Christmas.
Yeah. Are you excited or you don't care?
I'm not so excited.
What's that?
I'm not so excited about Christmas.
Yeah, I understand. I
Mm.
get it. I get it. So when I speak about presence or that or the spirit, God, I'm referring to this, that which, that place, this place. And, you know, and it's not, you know, however, when I would want to talk about, or anybody wants to talk about this subject, but I just speak of, from my personal experience, is like it's a pointing out at something, pointing out. You have to use language, and when you use language, everything becomes, it goes into duality. Because whenever you're talking about the infinite or a presence, and if I say God, she, somebody may come and say, well, why you say she, why you don't say he? Or we're calling it, or we calling it God, or we calling it the spirit or the presence. You know, there's always, like, you can nitpick on the language or why you're saying it this way or why you're saying it that way. But we're pointing out at that. So, and that is, doesn't have any form. And it can pick up form, of course, because it's everywhere and it's in everything. But even this concept of speaking of something is in everywhere and everything, it's for the mind not conceivable. My mind cannot understand it. At least my mind cannot understand that. What is it that it's in everything and everywhere? I'm everywhere and I'm nowhere. Yeah? Are you with me so far? So we're talking about something that is beyond the understanding of the thinking mind. The thinking mind can't get it. But we feel it, we sense it, we know there is something, we know there's a presence. And once you get into the spiritual world and you become a seeker and you dig deeper and you go within yourself, as you're peeling the onion and you're going through different layers of yourself, diving inwards, going within yourself and taking this journey, and you have to look at a lot of things you don't want to look at. It's scary. It's like the way out is scary, or the way in, that you have to face different things. And as you peel it and you go deeper and deeper within yourself, and in this journey within, you encounter the presence, you encounter this aspect of yourself, this presence, this thing, this power, this magician, the alchemist, that you feel this love, you feel this blessing, this blissful feeling, this quietness, this thing that is holding you and taking care of you and comforting you. In this process that you're going within yourself, whether you're with your teacher, you're with your guru, or you are going through this by yourself, that you come in touch and in contact with this, it becomes tangible and you touch it. And sometimes in this encounter, it's very overwhelming. It's very powerful. It's like there's a veil, there's a curtain in front of you, and the curtain is taken away, and you get to see that. You get to see yourself. You get to see or get a glimpse of God, of the presence. And it just blows you away. It's so powerful that it blows you away. And it's so intoxicating that you want more. You don't know what it is. You don't have no name for it. You go to the church or go to religious people, they call it God. But your understanding of God is this punishing presence, this punishing figure, that it has all these do's and don'ts. And especially when it comes to sex, that if you think of sex or having sex with people, or you touch yourself the wrong way or blah, 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 you're going to be punished. So there's a lot of punishment with that guy. That dude is different than this one that I'm referring to. There's a big difference, because this one doesn't really care what you've done, what you were doing, or even what you're doing right now. It's not looking for a disciple or a follower or a believer. And it really definitely doesn't want you to believe. Like, people ask me, do you believe in God? And my answer is, I don't believe in God, because I know God. I don't have to believe in something I know. Believe is for the blind. Believe is for those who don't feel. They don't know. They have to believe in something. So they believe in something, but they don't know it for themselves. That's different than when you discover something yourself directly. It's a direct experience. Like we all believe planet Earth is round. You know, from the time I was born, they've showed me pictures, whether videos on TV. Back in the day, you didn't have the computer, so you couldn't go on YouTube and watch videos. So through the videos were taken from NASA, they show you videos of planet Earth is round. It's a ball and it's round. But so I believe planet Earth is round. I don't have a reason not to believe it. But I don't really know. I don't know if it's round or it's flat. I didn't run around planet Earth 2 times, go around it, and come back to the same place. So it's not my direct experience to really know that it's round, and I've never gone out of space, sitting in a shuttle to go in the orbit and take a look at planet Earth from the outside and see that it's turning around itself and it's round. So I don't know if it's round or if it's flat. So that's believing, to believe in something. And the other one is when you know. And when you've been touched by the presence, we can call it God, if you want to put that word to it, and you've been touched by the presence, you don't have to be a believer anymore, because now you know. And you're hooked. And you sort of become like a junkie. You're a spiritual junkie. You know, just like a heroin addict, that they're junkies and they want their next fixed. You become like that. You want God. You want that. You want more of that, because you've had this experience of the oneness. You had this experience of total bliss. You had this experience of complete inner peace and silence. And you felt something very, very big. You feel it. You felt it. You feel it or you felt it. That something took over your mind and your body and your emotions and gave you tremendous amount of peace. You know it. And now that you've been touched by it, you're hooked. You can't go back. It's impossible for any of us, no matter how hard you try, to go back. You cannot go back. It's over. It's finished. And all of us, at one point in our lives, I don't know if you remember The Matrix, the movie Matrix. And there was a part of it at the movie, those who watched The Matrix, and there was a part that the Agent Smith is talking to one of the crew members and is talking him into betraying his crew, and they will take care of him and giving him a lot of credit, and they'll bring him into the Matrix. And he says, yeah, I want to be an actor and I don't want to remember anything. And then he says, the guy says, ignorance is bliss. And I have thought about that many times, that, oh my God, I wished I didn't know anything about these things. I wish I could be like a very normal person, like everybody else, believe in God and country, the church or the mosque, and the football game and baseball game and soccer game and Christmas and New Year and blah, 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 yada, 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 the whole thing. I could just be like everybody else. I thought about that many times. And I bet some of you have thought about it too. But it's too late. You can't go back. It's over. Once this thing, whatever you want to call it, the presence, the spirit, touches your life. I mean, it's always touching your life in reality. But once it makes its presence known to you, then you're hooked. You're hooked forever. And you're not going to stop till you get what you want. So you get touched by the spirit, by the presence, and you go to this place and you really feel it. Now, a lot of us can't stay in this place. They go there and they come back. Whether it was induced by whatever, it could be induced by psychedelics. Okay, if you were in the 60s, 70s, you dropped some acid and you had a trip and then you got hooked, or you came across a master, a guru, a teacher, and you were the presence of a high vibrational being, and you were showered by the love that is emanating from them. Or maybe you had tantric sex and you experienced divine oneness when you're having tantra. Maybe your mom and you gave birth to your child, and during the process of giving birth, you had this divine oneness experience and you went into this other dimension. Or maybe you were just sitting, meditating, or not doing anything. I don't know. You were cooking food or ironing your clothes, and all of a sudden your heart opened up, and what Robert Anton Wilson, in one of his books, Prometheus Rising, he's saying you may go through a rapid brain change, and something triggers, this is a way of saying it, and you go through a rapid brain change, or you go through a heart awakening situation, and then now you have access to cosmic consciousness and divine oneness, and you tap into that. And you start asking questions. And normally the first question is, who am I? Who am I? Why am I here? What's the purpose of my existence? Where was I before I was born? And what am I going to be after I die? So, what's the meaning of life? Why are we here? What are we doing here? What's the point? And so you look back, you look at the rest of the humanity, you look at the good, and you look at all the screwed up stuff that you see in the world, and you start questioning things. And for most of us, religion cannot answer our question. Religion does not answer our questions. So what do? We start going to spiritual books. We start reading books from the modern awakened beings. I don't know whether you go to Krishnamurti, you go to Muktananda, you go to Osho, you go to Papaji, you go to some of well-known Sat gurus in the 60s and 70s or 80s, And then you go to newer ones in 90s, 2000, and you start questioning things and reading books. And then you start taking some workshops, and your process of self-inquiry begins. And that is for some of us. Some other ones have gone through very strong emotional damages in childhood that they've been inflicted on us when we're kids. Alcoholic mother, alcoholic father, abusive father who beat you up or beat me up or raped you, parents, dysfunctional parents that they were fighting all the time, divorces, you get shipped from one home to another home, you go through a process of feeling abandoned, left out, you start developing these emotional scars that you're not good enough. So now you're gonna have a lifetime of feeling of lack of self-love, self-acceptance. Some of us become alcoholics, or we're becoming drug addicts, or we're abusive in our relationships, we're abusing our partner, we're abusing our children. So, and then some event happen in our life that we are looking for an answer. Something happens that this self-awareness mechanism gets activated. Some other people, they may have an accident, something happened to them, so they had a near-death experience, or maybe had a heart attack, or whatever, physically something happened to them, they almost died, and they went to the other side, or they went through the tunnel of light, and they came back. And that made them a seeker. That brought them on this path of wanting to investigate the nature of their life. Why are they here? What are they doing here? What's the point? Or, I mean, it could be anything, you know? You went through a major bankruptcy and you lost everything. You were very well off, you're a big time businessman, you're wealthy, you lose everything, your wife divorces you and leaves you, your kids leave you, and you go from the top to the bottom. And it forces you to dig in within yourself, and forces you to go towards the spiritual world and life and start seeking, looking. And I'm sure there are other scenarios too, many different scenarios, you know, that it brings us to this point of we start to investigate the nature of our own existence. So you become a seeker. You start to seek. And you're just shopping around in different spiritual markets. You enter into a bazaar. I don't know if you've ever been in any of the Arabic countries or Middle Eastern countries or Africans. They have a bazaar. It called it bazaar, the center of shopping. Like modern shopping mall is coming from old days in Middle East, from the bazaar, where you go enter the bazaar and there's all kinds of different merchants selling different things, which today we have a modern, the Western world adopted the ancient African or Asian bazaar, and they brought it to the West, and they created the shopping malls. So now you're entering into the spiritual bazaar. You're entering into the spiritual shopping mall. And today you can do it through internet, and you start searching for spiritual teachers, shamans, gurus, healers, life coach, and you're looking for guidance, looking for answers. Or you go, old days, those who remember, we went to bookstores. We went to spiritual bookstores, which I love them. And you find spiritual books, and then you find a flyer in the bulletin board on the spiritual bookstore that there's a talk with somebody's giving a talk, or there's a mini workshop and blah blah blah, and then you would find yourself into one of these places. Or you went to the health food store back in the day, small health food stores, and there were places that you could go and get information and meet like-minded people who were thinking the same way as you do, and you would meet them, and then you would be led to something, some group or meditation, or if you would end up to become Osho follower or sannyasins and get information and blah blah blah. And today you can find it online. Of course, there's a lot of fake stuff there, because like anything, there's the good ones, the bad ones, the fake ones, like anything else in life. So you kind of have to weed out and go through them to find the right thing for you. But anyway, you enter into the spiritual bazaar and you start shopping around. You're looking around. You're poking around to see what's happening and what's there. And you're new, you're fresh, you don't know what's up. So you have to go through different things. But you got touched by that. Somehow that has pulled the trigger and has touched you. So now you're looking for it. You're searching it. But what is it we're searching for? What is it we're looking for? What happened? What touched me? What am I really looking for? Because, okay, my parents were talking about religion. And I'm not talking about my parents, because my parents weren't religious, so they didn't really impose religion on me. But I'm just talking about the norm, general, talking about religion. So you go to the church, or you go to the mosque, or whatever tribe you come from, and you go to your religious leader, and they're talking about this God that created the world, and most of the stories are pretty much the same, but there's a lot of do's and a lot of don'ts. Don't do this, don't do that, blah blah blah. And so basically a lot of it is fear-based, that you shouldn't be doing these things, you should be doing these things, and it all goes back to fear of being punished, fear of ending in the fires of hell, or fear of, if you don't do this or don't do that, you have to come back another life, or take a lower form of your life. Maybe you come back in your next life and you're a dog, so you're somebody's pet. Or you have to pay your karma, or blah blah blah, whatever is the story, but it's fear-based. So that you don't get your answer. You go to your spiritual leader and you're not getting any answers. So now you're poking around. You're a seeker, you're looking for answers. And mainly in this seeking, some of us, it's the love of God that we felt in our hearts, and now we're looking for that. And a lot of us, a lot of people on the planet are going through pain. They're going through their emotional pains. And they're trying to find an answer to deal with the emotional pains. So now we go to certain kind of schools of spirituality that it will tell you you can get to God, you can get to final realization, which still, or enlightenment, which is still words, because it's kind of bullshit. It's meaningless. You know, you can't get to God, you can't get to final illumination or awakening or blah, 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 until you have to work on yourself. You need to clear your emotional stuff. You got to deal with your emotional baggages and deal with your childhood stuff, whatever it is, and in order to get to God. But so what? I get to God or I get to final realization, so what? I mean, what's in it for me? What is that going to do for me? Because, look, ultimately, you have to make this very clear. On this spiritual path, this is just like anything else in life. You just have to be very practical and very honest with it. And know one thing is, at the end, it's like, what's in it for me? That's all it is. What do I get? It's not for somebody else. It's not for, oh, I want to reach ultimate goal to help humanity, or I want to reach God so I'm one with God. But this is all talk. It's just blah, blah, blah. It's bullshit. It's meaningless. Pay attention to this part that I'm sharing with you, because it's very important. You need to get very clear with yourself, really clear about this part, so you don't waste your time running around, wasting your time banging your head against the wall and going to this teacher and that teacher and doing this meditation and that meditation, and at the end you're back to where you are and you haven't accomplished anything. Because ultimately what you're looking for is peace of mind. You're looking for happiness. Happiness, the ultimate happiness. I'm not talking about happiness that if I get everything goes my way, I'm happy. I'm not talking about that. Because when everything goes my way, I'm happy. And when things don't go my way, I'm not. So, and we all been touched by the presence. So we kind of know, we all realize that it's not, you can't have things go your way all the time. That's not what it is. It won't happen. It just doesn't happen. And if it did, then you wouldn't be sitting here listening to me. I promise you, you would not be wasting your time. This would be a waste of time right now for you to sit with me and listening to me, or for me to listen to any spiritual teacher. If I got everything I wanted, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. You wouldn't be doing what you're doing. So we're looking for ultimate happiness. We're looking for a way out of misery, way out of suffering. because you don't want to suffer. Now, suffering could come from whatever, mainly fear, anxiety. And for many people, suffering is coming from our childhood damages. Things happen to us that got the childhood, the emotional damages that inflicted upon us from childhood. So at the end of the day, you're looking for happiness, and happiness, ultimate happiness, is not possible unless you find inner peace, unless you come to terms with yourself. You come to peace with yourself. As simple as that. Very, very simple. And in this process that you're looking for this satisfaction, you're looking for this happiness, you're trying to find this equilibrium, this place that you're not so afraid of what's going to happen if I die. What happens to me when I get old? What happens to me when my kids leave me? My husband goes, my wife goes. What's going to happen to me when I'm disabled? Or in this thing that if I lose all my assets, I lose my money, I lose my home, I lose blah, blah, blah. Is anyone going to love me? Anybody wants to be with me? You want to find this place that, what about my loneliness? How do I deal with this loneliness? Why am I lonely so much? And this really thing that I need to have someone in my life. I need to have a partner. I need to have my kids around me. I need to have somebody who loves me, because there's this nagging thing continuously, this nagging thing, this fear or this empty gap, that you have to be in this emptiness to face this loneliness and deal with this one. So, to escape this, to find an answer, a formula, something that can cure all of it, then you're looking for happiness, to find inner peace, to come to peace with yourself, to find that. It's not God realization. It's not, those are words. It's not self-realization, enlightenment, awakening. Besides, those are words. These are empty words, meaningless, completely meaningless. Blah, 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 blah. It's really, I want to be happy. That's very truth. I want to be happy. And I want to be at peace with myself. I want to be able to be here and be peaceful and not go through pain of loneliness, going through the pain that I got abandoned, going through the pain that nobody wants me or loves me, going through pain that I'm afraid I will be broke, I will lose my money, I lose my home, I lose my health, I will lose my youth. So what do I do to come to that, to come to peace with it? That's what you're looking for. Peace. And this peace that we're looking for, we look for it in the other world. And in the other world, we get the object of our desire. You get the object and it brings you peace for a short period of time. Finally, you got the perfect life, everything. But unfortunately, it doesn't last. It's short term. Eventually, your partner is going to get old or leaves you. Your kid's going to get old and leave. Your youth, you lose your youth. The body starts to give up. Or maybe you're in a country now, there is a revolution. There's an upheaval in the politics or economy or something, or you lose your business. It cannot stay. It cannot sustain itself permanently. So it's not there. So you look for it out there and you haven't found it. So you are dissatisfied. So now you're ripe. You're ready to look for it somewhere else. We're looking for it somewhere else. And then in this process that we start to become ripe and we get ready to look for it, then that, what I was pointing out to, it pulls the curtain and it shows itself to you. It just gives you a good gulp of water and it gives you a good drink of itself. And boom, that's it. Boom, you're hooked. The fish got hooked on a hook. So now you're impregnated by that. The seed is put in there and boom, you got pregnant. You get pregnant by, they call it the love of God, the presence, by the Spirit. And what you feel is beyond everything else that you have felt, beyond any accomplishments that you have accomplished, because everything else that you did was short term. You got it and you lost it. It was there and it was gone. But now this one, it's quality. Even maybe it's short. It touched you, but something deep down inside you knows that this is the real deal. Something deep down inside you knows this is not like the partner you found and it was a wow, that was really great, and you tried to repeat it, so you went to the next partner and it was wow for a short period of time, but it soured. This one is different. This has a different quality to it. Something down deep inside you knows that. Now we want more. We want to be more at the presence of this force, this presence, this being, because by diving into this, by coming to it and immersing yourself by it, it gives you the real peace. It gives you the real inner peace. It brings you comfort. And the more you embrace it in your life, regardless of the word you're calling it, forget about the word. God, presence, Spirit, Yahweh, Krishna, Buddha, Christ. Regardless of the word you're calling it, you're in touch with this. It touches you. It tickles you. And you know down deep, this is it. This is the real thing. Now, how do I stay connected to this all the time? Now that's another. First, you notice it. Then you start seeking it and you're looking for it and you get glimpses of it here and there, but you're hooked. You want more. You got the right to want more. Well, I want more. I want it all the time. Why should I just have it part-time? You know? It's like, why did you show yourself to me and touch me and now you don't, I can't have any more? You know? It's like, what's up? What's the story? I want to be showered by this presence all the time. I don't want to just have it part-time. I want it all the time. Naturally. It's good. It's yummy. It's juicy. It's sweet. I want it. So what do I do? What do we do for that? What do I do? What do I do so I get it all the time? Anybody? Anybody has any suggestions? Huh. So one way is that the more you sink in here, the more you sink inside yourself, the more you come to, excuse me, the more you have to find a way, okay, to go beyond the thinking mind. You have to find a way to go beyond that. You have to go into the no mind. We can call it silence. You dive into silence. You become quiet within. So you find a way to bypass your thinking mind. This chatter that is going all the time, and this nagging voice that is telling you all these things. I'm not talking about your working mind. I'm talking about the monkey mind. And it complains. It's complaining all the time. Oh, I hate it here. Oh, I don't like it here. Oh, this person did that. Oh, I feel really lonely. Or I'm da-da-da-da. You hear it. It's ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. So that's where your discipline comes and your commitment, that you get committed to stay disciplined. You get committed to identify, to use a system that you can see. You can separate yourself from this chatter that is going. So you can look, you're looking up and you're hearing this thing is blah, blah, blahing all the time. And you're not buying into it. You have separated yourself from it. And I'm not talking about positive thinking. Now you want to think positive, so it's not negative. It doesn't work. Or you're visualizing, or you want to manifest this and that. No, you just have to figure out how you can be an observer to the chatter, that you are here and you're hearing this blah, 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 blah going, and you are not buying it. You hear it, but you don't buy it. And you're not buying it as who you are. Just because you're hearing this chatter in your head or wherever, that doesn't mean it's you. You're hearing this blah, 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 but that doesn't mean it's you. Because if it was you, then how can you hear it? How can you identify it? How can you notice that there is this thing happening? How can you be aware of it if it was who you are? You would have never known, because chatter would be your only reality. And you would never know silence. You would never know what it means to be silent. You would have never known what it means to have inner peace, because it's always disturbed. Disturbance would be your only reality. It's always disturbed. You wouldn't know peace. So by recognizing and acknowledging that it's there, it's blah, blah, blahing all the time, or it's an emotional pendulum, the feelings come and go and come and go. So you're acknowledging it, you're noticing it. There's a separation happens. And in that separation, you begin to get more glimpses of your inner peace. You begin to notice the background within yourself is very peaceful. It's quiet. And quiet, silence, inner peace starts to settle in your life. It starts to open up and show itself. More of the background of what is happening with you. And it just draws you more in. And the more you just are in contact with it, because you're staying disciplined. You know, you're disciplined. You're not buying into the chatter. You're staying very disciplined. You hear the chatter, you notice the emotional pendulum, but you're not buying it. You're not giving into it. You're simply staying the observer of it. You're simply looking at it, but you're not giving into it. So you stay disciplined. And in that, the gap gets bigger. Separation happens, and you start to have longer periods of inner peace, longer period of this union that you were looking for, this nectar of bliss that you wanted. You wanted to be there all the time. So now you experience it throughout the day. Before, maybe it was like, oh, one time I had this really powerful thing, but that was like a year ago, and I haven't experienced it since then. Oh, maybe 2 months ago I was in this workshop and I experienced it. Now it starts to happen daily. Throughout the day, you start to feel it. You start to touch it. It becomes more of a frequent thing. And you start to really get connected to this that you want to call it God, the presence. Her Majesty, and it starts to show itself more and more in your daily life. And it's something that you can't force it. You can't really force God or the presence. It's something you cannot manipulate it. It's bigger than you and I, but you've touched it, so you know it's here. You know it is. It's the real thing. It's the real deal. You know it. So what you do is you just stay disciplined and you do your work in a playful way. And you wait. You do your work and you wait. You do your work. You don't buy into blah, 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 blah. You don't buy into your passing emotions. You're simply seeing what's going on inside you. You hear the weather report in your head, but you don't identify with either of them, and you just wait. And then boom, it starts to show itself. It comes. All of a sudden, you start to have daily experience of the presence. It just takes over. And you start seeing it. It's everywhere. You start to experience it in every aspect of life. It's everywhere that you go. You don't necessarily have to feel it everywhere you go, because there's this projection of the mind that when I go to a beautiful beach, I'm in the nature, I'm with my horses, I'm with my dogs, I really feel God. But it's everywhere. You know, it's in a very busy area of the town. It's in downtown. It's in the metro station. It's in the tunnelbane. It's in a dark alley you're walking. It's in the cold weather. It's in the warm weather. It's everywhere, all the time. So you can feel it at any moment, anywhere. But you just stay patient and open. Patient, open, alert. Your heart's open to love. And then boom, it comes. And it's strong and it showers you. It shows itself. It shows itself to you because you are invited on this path, because it has chosen you on this path. It wants you to find it in yourself. So it's not going to abandon you. It's not going to leave you. If it wanted to do that, it would have not shown itself to you to begin with. It would have not touched you. As you can see, millions or billions of people, the concept of the idea of inner peace, the idea of presence of the divine being, of love, of God, to them it's meaningless. They laugh at you when you say these things. To them, God is some statue of Christ, it's in the church, or it's the Muslim God, or it's the Jewish God, or whatever. It's separation, it's fear, or you have to become a good soldier of any of these organized groups, whatever it is, whether it's a spiritual group, that their God, their way is the only way it is. And I can name hundreds of different spiritual groups that their way is better than everyone else. Their way is the only way. And that's not it. The only way is your way. That's it for you. Your way is the only way. Not my way. You don't have to follow me. I'm just telling you where it is. It's right here. It's in your own heart. And you've been touched by it. Don't ever think that you've been abandoned and God's not going to be on your life anymore just because you're not feeling it or you're going through a rough patch. You buy into your mind. You're buying into your emotions that are pendulums. You're buying into that. Or you have some emotional work to do. You gotta go do some psychotherapy work. If you have to do that, you have to do that. You gotta do whatever you have to do. But if you come to this and you hear this, means you're invited. You're on the right path. And the presence is here. The presence has shown itself to all of us. It has no name. It doesn't belong to a group. It's not belonging to the group that is wearing red. It doesn't belong to the group that goes to wear a cross. It doesn't belong to the group that is wearing a sign of Allah. It doesn't belong to anyone, yet it belongs to everyone. And it's here, always. Always present, always here, always accessible. And it's pure love. Pure, pure love. Doesn't have an agenda. There is no no's or do's. Doesn't care about on your behavior, the way you think or the way you do things. If it did, you wouldn't be alive. It's always here. The difference is we're not here, but it's always here. It's nice to see you all. The next academy is going to be next Tuesday from 6 to 7:30. This coming weekend reunion, I know some of you are coming, and we still have room for anybody who would like to join us. I welcome you to join me if your heart desires, if you can make it. It would be nice to see you. Next week on December 6th to 11th, I will be in Frankfurt, Germany, and I have a series of events. Starting on Thursday the 6th, I have a free event. It's a free lecture, 2 hours, satsang. I give a spiritual talk, and it's an opportunity to meet and greet. Friday evening, December 7th, I have a healing circle, healing event. And then on 8th and 9th of December, I'm offering the 5th Dimensional Quantum Healing Level 1 training program in Frankfurt. And then I come back on the 11th. So, and I'll be in Stockholm till the 18th of December, and then I head back to head back to Los Angeles. I'm offering a retreat in Sedona, Arizona. It's called, it's about the essence of shamanism, and that's going to be from March 7th to the 15th in 2019. So it's going to be a very powerful, yummy retreat. We're all going to be together for 9 days. And we're going to be at my favorite place on the planet Earth, which is Sedona, Arizona, one of my power places. Well, I don't know if I should say my most favorite, but I have a lot of favorite places, but definitely it's my power place. And it's a place that I really love and cherish and enjoy every moment of being there. And I've lived there for 9 years, so I consider Sedona, Arizona my home. Really, home is wherever your heart is, and wherever you're at peace with yourself. That's really home. But in a one way of speaking, I can call it Sedona is home. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to contact me or go on my website. It's Zarathustra.tv, and all the information you need is there. This was really nice being together. I kind of don't want to go. So I send you a lot of love and light, and look forward to seeing you soon. Namaste.